Hello and welcome to a new episode of Gourmet Bawarchi. Sabai di Krop. Thai cuisine is one of the most popular choices of food enthusiasts world over. Dishes like Pad Thai and Tom Yum Goong are celebrated and enjoyed universally. Thai cuisine strives to be a perfect blend of four seasonings, in particular sweet, sour, salty, and spicy. Their unique cooking methods and ingredients are highlighted in their delicious desserts. Traditional Thai desserts are quite sweet, made predominantly from various combinations of rice, coconut milk, and sugar, along with a few seemingly less common dessert ingredients such as fresh water chestnuts, tapioca flour, screw pine leaf, and coconut cream. These brightly colored desserts with vibrant shades of red, yellow, and green make them mouth-watering to say the least. In today's episode, I'm going to be making a dish which is a fusion between a classical Indian dessert and an exotic Thailand dessert. So let's get started with the batter, for which we are going to need some eggs, some sugar, some flour or maida, some semolina or rava, some baking powder, turmeric, and milk. So for the first step, I'm going to break 2 eggs. Then I'm going to add some sugar. I'm going to start with whisking it. While you're whisking it, add a little bit of the milk. The idea is to incorporate as much air as we can so that we get a light and fluffy batter. So once the sugar and eggs have been beaten well, we can add the dry ingredients. First we add the flour, then the rava, and the baking powder. And continue to blend. Now usually the vegetarian malpua that doesn't have eggs is not fermented, but we will be using eggs in our recipe, which is why we'll have to ferment it for about 45 minutes or so. For the next step, we're going to be making the jellied water chestnut. So I've got some beautiful green colored water chestnuts over here, which are available exclusively during the monsoon. The rest of the year, you only get the black water chestnuts. So we'll start by peeling these, cut it straight down the length into half, and then using this stem, peel the sides. So we'll be cutting these peeled water chestnuts into about 1/2 inch pieces and going to be putting it in rose syrup so they become a beautiful red ruby color. We've got our rose syrup over here. Just make sure it's immersed properly so that it gets the right color. And repeat the procedure for the rest. So for the next step, we are going to be making the coconut milk rabdi. So we're going to be starting by dissolving some tapioca starch in some water. Take about 1 teaspoon and add this. The reason that we dissolve this starch in the water is that we don't get lumps in our coconut milk at the end. So once it's dissolved, it should look something like this. Then we move to adding our coconut milk to the pan. This is quite liquid right now, but after we add the tapioca starch, it will rapidly become thick. Once your coconut milk mixture has come to a simmer, then we'll add the sugar. Let's wait for about half a minute till the sugar dissolves. We're going to be adding the tapioca starch mixture next. So make sure that the sugar is nicely dissolved, otherwise your coconut milk rabdi is going to be grainy. So now that the sugar has dissolved, I'm going to add the tapioca starch. Add little at a time. Don't add the entire bowl, otherwise you might end up with a very thick rabdi. I'm going to be adding one other ingredient, that is going to be the kevda water. Now originally in Thai cooking they use a leaf called pandanus, which gives it a flavor of actually basmati rice, and that flavor is extracted in our local Indian kevda water. So you won't immediately realize that it has thickened, but it's best not to add any more starch if you don't see that it has thickened enough, because after it cools down, it will thicken. Our coconut milk is the right consistency. We'll add the kevda essence and switch off the flame. Now that our coconut rabdi is nice and thickened, we're going to take it out and let it cool for a while. I have some water chestnuts that I cut and soaked much earlier. So we're going to strain these first. They've got a nice pink coloration to it. We don't need the rose syrup anymore, so we're going to keep that aside. Then we're going to add more tapioca starch to this mixture. And mix it up with our hands like this. And add just a little more starch to be on the safer side, so that our jellies come out nice and evenly coated. Shake off the excess, and I've kept a pot of boiling water in which we are going to be cooking the jelly. So at this point, be very careful and gently stir these water chestnut rubies. If you stir it too vigorously, the starch may come off and you won't get an even coating. So this procedure can take about 3 to 4 minutes. Now that our water chestnut jellies are boiled, we'll strain the mixture and get rid of the water. And quickly put it in some cold water so that it doesn't continue cooking. Okay, now that our jellied water chestnuts, the rabdi as well as our batter is ready, it's time to fry the malpuas. Because we've added the baking powder, the malpuas are puffed up nicely. Now that it's got a nice coloration, okay, now it's time to plate our malpuas with coconut rabdi. I'll start by putting a little bit of the jellied water chestnuts. Just spread it out evenly. Then we'll add some of the coconut rabdi. And spread that as well. And finally add the fried malpuas. As you can see, it's nice and crisped up. You can add just a little bit of rabdi on top as well. And our dish is ready. So there you have it, malpua with coconut milk rabdi and water chestnut jelly. I got the inspiration to make this dish from a dessert called Taptim Krop. So see you next week for another exciting episode of Gourmet Bawarchi. Hey everybody, if you like our show, please drop us a like. If you dislike it, let us know in the comments. For a variety of daily and weekly shows, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, you can drop us a suggestion for our future recipes and get in touch for personal orders.